So, a very good afternoon to you all. A very warm welcome to all of you in the mains enrichment program of Job Grade IS. So, today we are going to start a different segment that is purely of art and culture. For next 10 to 12 days, we will deal with the questions of art and culture, both 10 marker and 15 marker. So now today the question is very distinct. It's very it requires a brief knowledge. Before introducing the question to you, let me ask you one thing. Let me ask you one thing. How many of you know are actually practicing the PYQs? How many of you know are actually practicing the PYQs? If you are not practicing the PYQs, that means you are not a serious aspirant of UPSC mains, right? In order to ace this examination, you will have to practice the previous year questions. They are the dots that decode the actual pattern of the examination. It's not very easy to decode the question of UPSC as far as mains examination is concerned. Only PYQs can do this. They are the real guide. They are the real guide. Okay. So if you're not able to solve the PYQs, please do watch these sessions, subscribe the Job Grade IS channel, and share the live session. Right. So you're not denied to write, any kind of a test series that are available in market is full of test series, right? So here the question of the day is highlight the Central Asian and Greco-Bactrian elements in Gandhar art. Highlights the Central Asian and Greco-Bactrian elements. So this question has two parts. The part one is Central Asian and Greco-Bactrian elements, right? So they want to have a separate discussion. They want to know your separate point of views on Gandhar art and their separate influences of this the Central Asian culture and Greco-Bactrian right? So we have to discuss the two segments. So, but before introducing these two segments, let us know some outlines of Gandhar art. What is Gandhar art? What is Gandhar art? So actually, Gandhar art is the representation of Buddhism. Is the idealistic representation of Buddhism. And Gandhar, it used to be a Mahajanpad. It is now located in present day Afghanistan. Now, Gandhar art is the idealistic representation of Buddhism. Right? So now what they are doing? They are showing the idol of idol of Lord Buddha, of Gautam Buddha, right? Sorry, idol of Gautam Buddha. So they are dealing with which sect? They are dealing with the Mahayana sect of Buddhism, because there are two major sects of Buddhism, Hinayan and Mahayana. Hinayan sect deals with the, let us do a sort of brainstorming for this topic. Hinayan sect. What they are discussing? They are discussing about the original original teachings of Buddha. Right? On the other hand, the Mahayana sect is deals with the divine concept of Buddhism. Divine concept of Buddhism. Which means they are doing the idol worship. They believe in different form of Gautam Buddha. They believe in the concept of Bodhisattva. So now Gandhar art is dealing with this Mahayana sect of Buddhism. The concept of Bodhisattva, such as Avilokiteshvara, Vajrapani, Padmapani, right? So they are dealing with the Mahayana sect of Buddhism, and they existed. This art flourished from 1 BCE, or the first BCE, to 7th CE. 7th CE. Okay. Now what it has? It is covering the areas of. It flourished in the areas of flourished in Afghanistan, Northwest India, and Peshawar, which was known as Purushpur during ancient time, the modern day Peshawar, which was known as Purushpur that time. Okay. So now what will you write? The kind of materials which were used. The kind of materials that were used in Gandhar art. One is black stone. That was used in the construction of these Buddhist idols, and another one is stucco. Stucco is a type of plaster. It's a kind of plaster which supports the actual structure. Clear? So now it flourished in the area of Gandhar, which means the real patrons of this art were Scythians and the Kushans. Who were the real patrons? Because you know very well, during the ancient period, we have seen a lot of Greek invasions from Alexander to the Indo-Greeks, and then this art developed, and the area of Gandhar came in interaction of various kind of invaders, Parthians, Kushans, Scythians, right? So this art evolved in such a manner. Its concept was Indian, but execution was foreigner, right? Their concept was Indian, but execution was foreign. Right? Their execution was Indian, but their concept was Indian, but execution was of foreign origin. Clear? Now the real patrons, however, the real patrons of this art the real patrons of this art were Scythian, Scythians and Kushans. And Kushans. Clear? Scythians and Kushans. Now, what will you see? What will you see? This art evolved in this manner. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay. So what will you write in introduction? The Gandhar School of Art was one of the major schools of art in history of ancient India. Thou beginning in intricate part, thou being an intricate part of Indian history, how it was an intricate part of Indian history? Because it flourished in such a manner. What I explained you, why it is the intricate part of the Indian history. Origin of Buddha, birth of Buddha happened in India. And the art and architecture related to Buddha from Ashoka to Indo-Greeks, evolve in different manners. So no matter what kind of origin it has, it was impacted by a lot of factors. And that is the reason it is the intricate part of this country. Clear? Indian history, it is uniquely associated with Greco-Roman style of art. The combination of these Greco-Roman and Indian ideals, I told you, the concept was Indian and their execution was foreigner, which means Greek or Central Asian. That's why we are saying, na? That's why we are saying, because their idea was Indian. Gautam Buddha born in India. He propagated his philosophy at very first time in India. And then when Buddhism got flourished from generation to generation, from kingdom to kingdom, from dynasties to dynasties, it propagated in various parts of the world. But the origin was India. Idea was Indian. Concept was Indian. But execution was, very well, foreign. So now Greco-Roman and Indian ideas along with the influence of other foreign traditions such as former Central Asia, Iran, China resulted in the formation of a distinct style known as the Gandhar School of Art. As I explained you earlier, it came in interaction with various kind of foreign entities, right? So formerly Iran was known as during the ancient time Parthia, and Parthians were the Iranian origin people. Parthians, they are also the part of Indo-Greeks, along with Shak, along with Scythians, along with Indo-Greeks such as Demetrius, Eucratites, and Menander. So now, what are some important points of body of the answer? First of all, Central Asian and Roman influence. Just focus on this portion. This is the divine concept of Buddhism. Now Gautam Buddha has a sun-like structure behind his head. He has a sun-like structure behind his head. जो अपग्रेड दी स्टूडेंट, एक दिन हिंदी में पढ़ाकर देखिए, सब क्लास में आएंगे. अच्छा, ठीक है, चलो हिंदी में पढ़ा देंगे. हिंदी में मेरा प्रीलिम्स का सेशन होता है. क्योंकि ये मेंस का सेशन है. आपका नाम जो भी है, आप ओरिजिनल नाम से नहीं है तो आई विल नॉट टेक द नेम. तो हिंदी में मैं इसलिए नहीं पढ़ा रहा हूँ क्योंकि जो स्टूडेंट्स इंग्लिश मीडियम से मेंस दे रहे हैं उनके लिए बेसिकली एक अच्छा बेस तैयार हो जाए. बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे मीडियम वो वही होना चाहिए आपका बोलने का भी जो एग्जाम का मीडियम होना चाहिए बच्चे का. ठीक है, तो इस चीज का थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखना पड़ता है. अदरवाइज देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम इन हिंदी. अब जो मेरा 6 PM जो सेशन होगा वो आप जरूर देखना, वो हिंदी में ही आएगा. हिंदी में तो नहीं, बाइलैंग्वेज आएगा. चलो, सो नाउ यू कंसीडर ये this sun-like structure behind the head of Buddha. Now this is The divine concept. This is the divine concept. These all are the solar gods. These all are the solar gods. These all are the solar gods which are, अच्छा आए तो बच्चे हैं जिनके लिए क्लास है, ठीक है, मैं चलो एक क्लास आपकी कल, एक क्लास में आपकी बाईलैंग्वेज ले आऊंगा, ठीक है। डोंट बी डोंट लूज हार्ट, क्योंकि अभी का जो सेशन है वो जिस तरीके से जा रहा है आप प्लीज उसे जाने दो, ठीक है। कल का जो सेशन होगा वो आपके लिए क्या आ जाएगा, बाईलैंग्वेज आ जाएगा, ठीक है। कल का सेशन आपके लिए बाईलैंग्वेज आ जाएगा। चलो अभी अभी मैं पढ़ा लूं जिस लैंग्वेज में पढ़ा रहा हूं। चलो so now this structure represents the solar gods, and the concept of solar god exists in this Central Asian culture. Central Asian culture. So now artistic representation, Buddha is sometimes presented in Roman motifs like Triton. Like Triton. Triton is a Roman motif. He is a Roman god, right? And he is the representative of the solar gods in Greece. So Buddha is molded on this in this manner. Okay. Indian polity, history, MCQs. Yes, sir. Okay. Now, anthropomorphism tradition. Anthropomorphism tradition. Now, Buddha is inspired by the Roman tradition. You see the forehead of Buddha. It is very defined. His nose is like a Greek god. The wavy hair and his attire. If you have watched some movies like on Roman empires, such as Troy or the Prince of Persia, which has the Roman elements, which had some Roman elements, you will see the attire of those people. The same attire is introduced in this idol of Lord Buddha. So this is known as anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism means structure of human body. The structure, the well-defined forehead, the pointy nose, big ear, and this kind of attire with this kind of structure behind his forehead, behind his head, sorry. Now dressing the outer robe of Buddha, Gandhar like Kaya, Antarvasa resembles the Roman gods. His attire basically. Now, what are certain Greco-Bactrian elements? What are certain Greco-Bactrian elements? Now, whenever you discuss the Central Asian elements, there are certain more elements. There are certain specimen of Buddha. There are certain specimen of Buddha. Certain specimen in Central Asian art had conical caps. What it was? Conical caps means the Buddha is shown like in conical cap, which represents the influence of Kushana art, right? Because Kushan wore such kind of night warrior type caps, right? The concept of fire worship, but this was not the part of this art, right? So you will have to remember this point also. Now next is who is this? He is Hercules. Hercules is a Greek god. There is a famous Hollywood movie also, Hercules King, right? I think this was released in way back in 2003 and 4. It's a very old movie, but a good movie. So Greco-Bactrian elements. So in Greco-Bactrian elements, the Buddha is shown under the authority of Hercules, which means Hercules is the protector of Buddha and Buddhism. So Greek god as a protector in many images of Buddha. He is seen under the protection of Greek god Hercules. Now, the drapery of Buddha statues similar to Parthian drapery in Hellenistic culture. Hellenistic culture. Hellenistic culture, developed in ancient Greece. They were the ardent follower of sun worship. Their attire was different, and the same attire was given to. सर आप बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाते हैं, पढ़ाते रहिए. बाय बाय. ओके, थैंक यू, थैंक यू. ओके. So their attire was in such a manner which was used by the Greek people, the ancient Greek people. The draping of the dress, the draping of the dress in Parthian style, right? Curly hair of Buddha statue also resembles similarity with Parthian style. Parthian style means Iranian style. Now look at this. This is Vajrapani. This is Vajrapani. This is Vajrapani. Vajrapani. And this form is very aggressive. This form is a very aggressive. Now he is not Buddha himself. He is the Bodhisattva. He is the Bodhisattva. And you know very well the Bodhisattva. The concept of Bodhisattva is taken from the Mahayana sect. Is taken from the. सर मेरा ऑप्शनल हिस्ट्री है यूपीएससी में. अच्छा, आपका ऑप्शनल हिस्ट्री है तो व्हाट डू यू वांट टू आस्क, एक बार बता दीजिए आपको क्या पूछना है ऑप्शनल में, हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल में. एक चीज में बता दूं, हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल बहुत बड़ा होता है. एज एन ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट हिस्ट्री इज वेरी वास्ट, क्योंकि जीएस में आप मेंस के एग्जामिनेशन में हिस्ट्री में मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री पढ़ते हो, वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री पढ़ते हो, पोस्ट इंडियन इंडिपेंडेंस पढ़ते हो और आर्ट एंड कल्चर पढ़ते हो. बट हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल जब भी आप लेते हो, हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल आप जब भी लेते हो ना, तो आपको एंशियंट, मिडिवल, मॉडर्न और वो भी पोस्ट ग्रेड लेवल पर पढ़ना पड़ता है. तो इट्स वेरी डेप्थ, इन वेरी डेप्थ. आपको बहुत हिस्ट्री की रिसर्च बुक्स थोड़ी पढ़नी पड़ती है. मतलब इतनी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल की. गाइडेंस इज अवेलेबल हेयर ऑल्सो. यहाँ से भी आप हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल कवर कर सकते हो. बट सब्जेक्ट वास्ट होता है, सब्जेक्ट थोड़ा सा लेंदी होता है, बड़ा होता है, बड़ा सब्जेक्ट है. तो बेसिकली आप जब मेंस के एग्जामिनेशन में ऑप्शनल का पेपर लिखोगे तब भी आपको थोड़ा सा वो क्या लगेगा, लेंदी ही फील होगा, बड़ा फील होगा. बट डोंट वरी, ऑप्शनल जो सब्जेक्ट्स होते हैं उसमें कभी भी ये मैटर नहीं करता सब्जेक्ट कितना बड़ा है कितना छोटा है. आपकी उससे कितनी केमिस्ट्री बनी हुई है सब्जेक्ट से, आपकी कितनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, राइट? जैसे स्टूडेंट्स क्लियर विद द यूपीएससी एग्जामिनेशन विद मैथिली साहित्य. मैथिली साहित्य से भी लोग क्लियर करते हैं, संस्कृत लिटरेचर से भी लोग क्लियर करते हैं, इंग्लिश लिटरेचर से भी क्लियर करते हैं, जियोलॉजी से भी क्लियर करते हैं, राइट? दीपक तिवारी इज सेइंग सर मैंने अभी 12th पास किया है, मैं अभी ग्रेजुएशन फर्स्ट ईयर में हूँ, मैं हिंदी मीडियम से तैयारी कर रहा हूँ, मैंने ग्रेजुएशन में बीए कर रहा हूँ, सोशियोलॉजी, पॉलिटिक्स साइंस इन हिंदी. तो दीपक, मेरा आपको यही सजेशन होगा कि आप अपने ग्रेजुएशन के जो सब्जेक्ट्स हैं ना उन पर बहुत अच्छी कमांड रखना. एक बार ग्रेजुएशन के सब्जेक्ट पर अगर कमांड हो गई आपकी तो फिर आप उस सब्जेक्ट को और भी अच्छा इसमें प्रिपेयर कर सकते हो. लेट अस सपोज कि आप सोशियोलॉजी पढ़ रहे हो और इस पे आपकी शुरू से ही अच्छी कमांड है, तो जब ऑप्शनल प्रिपेयर करोगे सिविल सर्विसेज के लिए तो आपको इसमें ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी, ठीक है? और सोशियोलॉजी में हिंदी में बहुत ज्यादा गाइडेंस होती है. सर कितने टाइम तक कवर होगा हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल? हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल देखो, एक मिनट में एक क्वेश्चन डिस्कस करता हूं फिर आपसे, चलो अभी बात कर लेता हूं मैं. हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल की अगर आप बात करोगे, हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल की बात करोगे ना अगर आप, और अगर आप 0 से कवर कर रहे हो हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल, और अगर आप 0 से कवर कर रहे हो तो आपको 7 मंथ्स लगते हैं. धीरे धीरे चलोगे तो आपको 7 मंथ्स हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल को कवर करने में लग जाएंगे. तो अगर आपका अटेम्प्ट यूपीएससी सिविल सर्विसेज 2026 है तो अब आपको बिना टाइम गवाए ना हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल शुरू कर देना चाहिए, इस तरीके से कि वो जनवरी तक खत्म हो जाए. कब तक खत्म हो जाए? जनवरी तक खत्म हो जाए. और जनवरी के बाद हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल को रोक करके फरवरी, मार्च, अप्रैल आप पूरी तरीके से प्रीलिम्स का पढ़ोगे. और जब प्रीलिम्स क्लियर हो जाएगा तो उसी जो 7 महीने का को आपने पढ़ा है, 7 महीने जो आपने ऑप्शनल पढ़ा है, उसको आप बहुत ही प्रोफेशनली 2 महीने में कवर करोगे। समझ गए? इसके लिए सर कोई हाँ 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 बिल्कुल पेड बैच है। पेड बैच है इग्नाइट फाउंडेशन 2026, वहां पर ऑप्शनल की भी क्लासेस है, वहां पर आपकी जीएस की भी क्लासेस है। यू कैन ज्वाइन, आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हो। दीपक तिवारी सर मेरा ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट सोशियोलॉजी ही होगा। सर मैंने जब एथिक्स के सब्जेक्ट पढ़ता हूं तो बहुत अच्छा। एथिक्स इज जीएस पेपर राइट? एथिक्स इज दीपक, एथिक्स का पेपर होता है जीएस पेपर 4, और एथिक्स का पेपर बेसिकली आप कहोगे तो बहुत ही ज्यादा एक प्रैक्टिकल अप्रोच वाला पेपर होता है। ठीक है, सोशियोलॉजी इज अ डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट, इट इज टेकन इन दी ऑप्शनल्स। जो आप ले रहे हो दैट इज गुड, अच्छी बात है। सोशियोलॉजी इज अ वेरी गुड ऑप्शनल, डायनेमिक है काफी। एथिक्स का सब्जेक्ट जो है वो थोड़ा सा जीएस पेपर 4 में आ जाता है, उसमें थ्योरी पोर्शन भी आता है, केस स्टडीज भी आती है। ये करा लूं मैं, थोड़ा सा आपसे बाद में बात करूंगा, एक क्वेश्चन करा लूं, क्वेश्चन, एक क्वेश्चन करा लूं, चलिए। ओके, so now Vajrapani is a bodhisattva, is not Buddha himself. The concept of bodhisattva is taken from the Mahayana sect, and bodhisattva is an entity which is on the verge of, which is almost enlightened, but not attaining nirvana for sake of other people, for the benefit of other people, because they want to clear the path of salvation for other people. That is why they remain in this plane, they are remaining in this plane. Clear? So he is Vajrapani, he is very aggressive, and he is the protector of Buddhism and the teaching of Gautam Buddha, and the teaching of Gautam Buddha. So Vajrapani is a protector, he is the protector of Buddhism and their teachings, and their teachings. Clear? So now Vajrapani, found in the right hand of the future Buddha, is told as transformed symbol of Hercules, who is seen as a protector of Buddha. So what Greco-Roman art or Greco-Bactrian art is saying, Vajrapani is a bodhisattva. The idea is Indian, but what execution is saying? What execution is saying? Execution is saying Vajrapani is nothing but a different form of Hercules, the Greek god, and he is protecting the Buddhism. As we have seen in the beginning, that Hercules is the protector of Buddha and Buddhism. Clear? So now besides this, the clothes, hairstyle, decoration, and ornamental clarity indicate the influence of Greek style. You can see this kind of ornaments, the kind of attire, the kind of hairstyle, it is all pertained during the ancient Greek period. During the ancient Greek period. सर हिंदी मीडियम के लिए बैच है क्या पेड? दीपक हिंदी मीडियम के लिए भी बैच पेड है, बाइलिंगुअल के लिए भी पेड बैच है, इंग्लिश मीडियम के लिए भी पेड बैच है, तीनों में अलग अलग क्लासेस अभी चल रही हैं। ठीक है, तीनों में अभी अलग अलग क्लासेस आपकी चल रही हैं, है ना? आप अपनी कन्वीनियंस के अकॉर्डिंगली आ सकते हो। ठीक है दीपक? नाउ ओके, so now this was all about the influence of Central Asian and Greco-Bactrian forms on Gandhar art. Gandhar art is nothing but basically an idealistic representation of Buddhism. They are representing the idols, which means they are representing the Mahayana sect of Buddhism. They flourished. It flourished from 1st BC to 7th century CE. The concept of Buddhism, the concept of Buddhism originated in India, but as far as this projection of Central Asian and Greco-Bactrian influence is concerned, their execution is of foreign origin. Their execution is of foreign origin. So what we have discussed it flourished in Afghanistan, northwest India, and Peshawar, which was ancient time, during the ancient time, which was known as Purushpur, which was known as Purushpur. Now the materials which were used, black stone and stucco. Stucco is a kind of plaster that is supporting the superstructure. Now, the real patrons were Scythians and Kushans because the Gandhar art, Gandhar is in Afghanistan, it is on the borders, and most of the Greek invaders came from that way. Alexander came from Khyber Pass, which is very near to modern day Afghanistan. Clear? So now the real patrons were Scythians and Kushans. Plus. So what will write in conclusion? The Central Asian and Greco-Bactrian art made a considerable contribution to the development of Gandhar art. In its turn, later affected the culture of the religious inhabited by Iranian people. By Iranian people, how it was affecting the regions inhabited by Iranian people? How? Can anybody answer? Okay. Now, Parthian people, Parthians, who are presently known as Iranian people, they came to India. They, imbibed the culture of Buddhism. Hence, the symptoms of this culture are still present in Iran, right? Regions inhabited by Iranian people. The meaning of this line I've explained, and I've already told you your conclusion in such a manner that it should satisfy all the points of body that you have mentioned in your answer. And how will you build a very good answer? By fragmenting the question in two parts as per the demand of the question. Here we are asked the two dimensions of this question: the influence of Central Asian and Greco-Bactrian elements. Then we did a sort of brainstorming. Then we gave a very strong introduction to the topic. Then we formulated the points and then the sub points of the body. Now, Greco-Bactrian elements we've already discussed, and finally we discussed the conclusion. So this was all for the day. I hope you understood the session, and I will come up with more questions of art and culture for next 10 to 12 days. We will discuss all the questions of art and culture, then world history, and then post Indian independence. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.